Welcome back to Coins Tool. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 1982 D Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that carries an incredible history and a surprising value in today's coin market. Some of these coins have been sold for astonishing amounts, with one rare example reaching an unbelievable current market value of $70,880. The 1982 D Lincoln penny comes from a very interesting and important year in American coin history. This was the year the United States Mint changed the composition of the Lincoln cent. For many decades since 1909, the Lincoln penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that heavy feel and solid appearance. However, in 1982, due to the rising cost of copper, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to a cheaper metal composition, beginning to make the penny from a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. The new composition was 975% zinc and only 25% copper. This change led to a very unique situation in 1982 because both copper and zinc versions of the penny were struck during that same year. That means there are multiple variations of the 1982 penny, and collectors love to hunt for them because of their historical importance and potential high value. Let's look at the varieties first. In 1982 there were actually 7 different types of Lincoln cents. The variations include large date and small date designs struck in both copper and zinc from the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The 1982 D penny refers to those minted at the Denver Mint, which can be identified by the small d mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Now here's where it gets truly interesting. A small number of 1982 D Lincoln pennies were mistakenly struck using the old copper planchets instead of the new zinc ones. This minting error created one of the most famous modern coin varieties in the history of U.S. coinage. The 1982 D copper small date penny has become legendary among collectors because only a few examples are known to exist. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to look at what makes it special. First, rarity plays the biggest role in a world of billions of 1982 pennies. Only a handful of these copper small date 1982 D coins are known. The mint had already transitioned to zinc planchets, but somehow a few leftover copper blanks were fed into the presses. This unexpected mix-up resulted in a coin that was never meant to exist. The rarity alone sends its value soaring. Another important factor is the condition of the coin. As always in coin collecting, the grade determines the market price. A well-circulated 1982 D penny may only be worth 1 cent, but if you have a mint state or uncirculated version, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands. And if you have the rare copper small date version authenticated by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC, the price can skyrocket. To tell if your 1982 D penny is the rare copper version, there is a simple way to check. You can weigh it. A copper penny weighs about 31 grams while the zinc penny weighs only about 25 grams. Using a digital scale accurate to 1/10 of a gram can reveal which version you have. If your 1982 D penny weighs 31 grams and has the small date style, you could be holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever made. Now let's talk about the market history. In recent years, coin collectors have paid record amounts for the rare 1982 D copper small date penny. One sold for over $18,000 a few years ago in mint state condition. Another was auctioned for over $20,000 in 2021, but the finest examples in perfect uncirculated condition can command astonishing sums in today's high-end collector market. One exceptional specimen has been estimated at a current market value of around $70,880. That's an unbelievable price for a 1-cent coin. Why are collectors willing to pay so much? Because this coin represents a turning point in U.S. mint history. It symbolizes the end of the copper era and the birth of the modern zinc penny. It also stands as one of the greatest mint errors ever discovered, a small mix-up that turned a simple coin into a piece of numismatic treasure. Beyond its financial value, the 1982 D Lincoln penny tells a story about America's economic challenges. In the early 1980s, inflation was high, raw materials were expensive, and the U.S. Mint had to find ways to reduce costs. Switching from copper to zinc saved millions of dollars for the government each year. It was a practical decision, but it also created one of the most exciting years in coin collecting history. Every collector dreams of finding one of these rare coins in their pocket change. Though most 1982 D pennies are made of zinc and worth only face value, the possibility of finding a genuine copper small date variety keeps the excitement alive. It's the kind of coin that reminds everyone why coin collecting is such a thrilling hobby. You never know what you might find, so if you have any 1982 D pennies lying around, check them carefully. Look at the date, check the mint mark, and most importantly, weigh the coin. If you find one that weighs 31 grams, you could be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Be sure to have it authenticated by a reputable coin grading company before selling or trading it. Collectors around the world continue to search for this incredible rarity because it represents a piece of American history. Preserved in copper, a simple coin that could change your financial future if you find the right one. The 1982 D Lincoln 1-cent penny stands as a shining example of how a small minting change and a tiny error can create a multi-million-dollar legend in the world of numismatics. From its historical background to its rare composition, this coin remains one of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting, reaching a current market value as high as $55,880 for a single coin. So let's dive into the story and explore everything that makes the 1983 Lincoln penny so special and valuable. The 1983 Lincoln 1-cent coin was produced by the United States Mint following one of the biggest changes in the composition of the Lincoln penny in American history. Just 1 year before, in 1982, the U.S. Mint made the switch from the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a new copper-plated zinc composition. Due to the rising cost of copper, the new pennies were made with a core of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change made the penny much lighter and cheaper to produce, and by 1983 all Lincoln cents were made with this new zinc composition. However, this major transition led to some unusual and rare minting errors that today make some of these 1983 pennies worth thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars. The 1983 penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been on the obverse of the penny since 1909 in honor of the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The obverse also includes the words "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1983 to the right, with a small mint mark below the date. If the coin was minted in Denver, you will see a small letter D, and if it was made in Philadelphia, there will be no mint mark. On the reverse side you will find the Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparo, which was used from 1959 to 2008. The words "United States of America" appear across the top. 1 cent is displayed at the bottom and "E Pluribus Unum" is inscribed above the Lincoln Memorial. Now let's talk about the details that make some 1983 pennies worth so much money. While most 1983 pennies are common and only worth face value, there are certain varieties and errors that have skyrocketed in value among collectors. The most famous of all is the 1983 copper penny error. Remember that all 1983 pennies were supposed to be made of zinc with a thin copper coating. However, a few planchets left over from 1982 made of solid copper were mistakenly used to strike some 1983 pennies. This rare transitional error resulted in a small number of 1983 pennies being minted in the wrong metal, and those are now considered some of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. To identify a 1983 copper penny, you can start by weighing the coin. In normal 1983 zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but if your coin weighs around 3.1 grams, that means it was struck on a copper planchet. If verified, this error coin can be worth a fortune. One example of the 1983 copper Lincoln cent sold at auction for over $23,500. Another specimen in pristine condition sold for more than $18,000, and collectors believe that if a perfect uncirculated condition example appears, it could easily reach a current market value of $55,880 or even higher depending on the demand and rarity. There are also other 1983 penny varieties that can bring in big money. The 1983 double die reverse penny is another highly sought after error. This particular variety shows doubling on the lettering on the reverse side of the coin, especially noticeable in the words 1 cent and "E Pluribus Unum." This doubling occurred because of a misalignment during the minting process and can be seen clearly with the naked eye or a magnifying glass. A 1983 double die reverse penny in uncirculated condition has sold for over $15,000 in auctions and remains one of the most desirable Lincoln Memorial cents among collectors. Other small but interesting errors from 1983 include off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks. While these may not reach the same high values as the copper transitional or double die errors, they can still be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 depending on the severity and condition of the coin. So it's always worth examining your change carefully. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. In terms of mintages, the 1983 penny was produced in huge quantities. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 7.7 billion coins and the Denver Mint struck more than 6.5 billion. So the majority of 1983 pennies are very common and only worth face value in circulated condition. However, condition plays a major role in determining a coin's value. If you find a 1983 penny in mint state with a brilliant luster free of scratches and bag marks, it can still bring a Nice premium from collectors even without any major error. Some of the best examples graded MS67 red by PCGS or NGC can sell for $100 to $250, and those with exceptional color or strike quality can fetch even higher. So if you ever come across a 1983 Lincoln penny, make sure to check its weight, look for doubling on the reverse, and pay attention to any unusual details. You could be holding a coin that is worth far more than just 1 cent. The story of the 1983 penny reminds us how changes in coin composition and simple minting mistakes can create some of the most exciting and valuable treasures in U.S. numismatic history. We are going to talk about the 1987 D. Lincoln 1 cent coin, a small copper-coated zinc penny that might just surprise you with its value and rich history. Yes, you heard that right, this little coin could be worth much more than just 1 cent, and in some rare cases the value can reach an incredible $40,880 depending on condition, rarity, and minting errors. Let's begin with the history of the 1987 D. Lincoln penny. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint in the United States and carries the small d mint mark right under the year 1987 on the obverse side. The obverse features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. The same design has been used since 1909 when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The reverse side of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, which was first used starting in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1987 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series and is made of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 25 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. During this period, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins, making them common in circulation. However, not all 1987 D pennies are created equal. Some of them contain rare errors or were preserved in pristine condition, making them extremely valuable to collectors. Now let's talk about what makes some of these coins worth a fortune while the majority of 1987 D Lincoln pennies are only worth their face value of 1 cent. If you happen to find one in mint state condition or with a striking error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins that have been graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC at a high mint state level, especially MS67 or higher, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. There are a few specific errors that make certain 1987 D pennies exceptionally valuable. For instance, double die errors, where the design appears slightly doubled on Lincoln's face or on the lettering, such as "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," can drastically increase the coin's value. Another rare error type is the off-center strike, where the image is not properly aligned with the rim of the coin, or a broad strike error which results in a coin that looks stretched and larger than normal. There are also examples of die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank. In pristine mint condition, especially if it has a rare error or high grade, the 1987 D Lincoln penny can reach an astonishing value of $40,880 in today's collector's market. That's a massive amount for something that most people overlook in their spare change. Imagine turning 1 cent into tens of thousands of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting. Let's also look at the market trends for this coin. Over the past few years, collectors have shown increasing interest in modern Lincoln pennies, particularly those from the 1980s. This era saw many transitional compositions and minting variations which add to the excitement and collectability. The 1987 D penny has become one of the more sought-after coins among Lincoln cent enthusiasts because of its potential for high-grade rarity and certain known die variations. If you find a shiny 1987 D penny in your collection, take a close look at it. Examine the mint mark, the lettering, and Lincoln's portrait under a magnifying glass. If you spot any doubling or unusual marks, you could be holding a rare variety. Even if it looks perfectly normal, it might still be worth sending to a grading company if it's in exceptional condition, because the difference between an average circulated penny and a high mint state graded coin could be thousands of dollars. Collectors value coins with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches, or where the higher the grade, the higher the price. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 by PCGS or NGC are among the most valuable examples ever sold. Some have fetched prices well above $10,000, and the record auction prices for perfect specimens have reached into the tens of thousands, making them truly special finds in the numismatic world. So next time you go through your change or look at an old coin jar, pay close attention to those 1987 D Lincoln pennies. You never know when you might come across one of these gems, worth up to $40,880 to wrap things up. The 1987 D Lincoln 1 cent coin is more than just a simple piece of metal. It represents American history, craftsmanship, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, from its humble beginnings at the Denver Mint to becoming a treasure in the eyes of collectors. This penny is proof that even the smallest coin can hold enormous value. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 2013 1-cent Lincoln penny coin, a modern coin that many people think is just worth 1 cent, but believe it or not, some rare examples of this penny have shocked collectors and have been valued at thousands of dollars, with one rare variety reportedly worth up to $20,880. So if you have a 2013 penny at home or in your collection, this video is for you. Let's start with a bit of history about this coin. The 2013 Lincoln penny continues the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it became the longest-running design in United States coinage history. The reverse of the 2013 penny features the Union Shield design, which was introduced in 2010, replacing the four commemorative reverse designs of 2009 that celebrated different aspects of Lincoln's life. The Union Shield design symbolizes the unity of the United States, with 13 vertical stripes joined by a single horizontal bar across the top and a banner inscribed with the word 1 cent. The 2013 Lincoln penny was struck at three major mints: the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark; the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark; and the San Francisco Mint, which produced proof coins with an S mint mark. Millions of these coins were minted for circulation, but only a handful are known to have extraordinary errors and high grade conditions that make them worth a fortune. Now let's talk about composition. The 2013 penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. This composition has been used since 1982, when the United States Mint switched from a solid copper alloy to a copper-plated zinc core due to the rising cost of copper. While most 2013 pennies are worth just face value, there are a few special varieties and rare errors that can make yours extremely valuable. One of the most sought after is the 2013 double die obverse variety. This type of error happens during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin imprints the design slightly offset twice, causing noticeable doubling in areas such as the lettering "In Liberty in God We Trust" or the date 2013. Collectors love double dies because they are unique and easily visible without magnification. Some of the strongest double die examples from 2013 have sold for several $100s. In high grades, another valuable type is the off-center strike error. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the value can range from $50 for a minor error up to several hundred or even a few $1,000s for dramatic examples that still show the full date and mint mark. One of the most dramatic error varieties that has been discovered in the 2013 Lincoln penny series is the die crack or die break, sometimes called a cud. This occurs when part of the die itself cracks or breaks off and leaves a raised blob or extra metal on the surface of the coin. Collectors love these because no two are exactly alike, and the larger the break, the higher the value. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are another highlight to look for. These coins were specially struck for collectors with mirrored surfaces and sharp details. While most proof 2013 pennies are worth a few dollars in perfect condition, coins graded by PCGS or NGC as PR70 Deep Cameo can reach values over $50 to $100. Now let's move to the high-grade coins. Those are the coins that look absolutely flawless under magnification. If you have a 2013 penny that has never been used and shows no scratches, dents, or where it might be worth sending to a grading company for evaluation in mint state condition, especially in MS68 or MS69, these coins can sell between $100 to $500 depending on demand, but the rarest and most perfect examples can go much higher in recent auctions. One of the most impressive sales for a 2013 Lincoln penny was a mint state 69 red example, which sold for a staggering $20,880. This coin was nearly perfect with incredible eye appeal and was one of the finest known examples ever graded by PCGS. This shows that even a modern coin like the 2013 penny can bring unbelievable value when preserved in the highest condition possible. So what should you look for in your change or coin rolls? First, check for the mint mark. If you find a 2013 D penny, look closely for any doubling around the letters or numbers. If you have a Philadelphia no mint mark penny, inspect the coin for any unusual shapes, die cracks, or color variations. Also look for extremely shiny or untouched examples. Those might have come straight from a mint roll and could grade very high. It's also important to store your coins properly. If you think you have a valuable 2013 penny, never clean it or polish it, because Cleaning can reduce its value significantly. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and keep it in a plastic holder or flip to protect it from scratches and environmental damage. The 2013 Lincoln penny might seem too modern to be rare, but it represents a fascinating time in coinage when high mintages combined with precision minting sometimes still resulted in incredible errors or high-grade survivors. And because collectors always search for the best possible example, even a coin from just a few years ago can command huge prices at auction. In summary, while most 2013 Lincoln pennies are worth only 1 cent, some rare and high-grade examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the record breaker of this series reaching up to $20,880 proves that modern pennies can still hold hidden treasures. So the next time you find a shiny 2013 penny in your pocket or change jar, take a closer look. It might not just be a cent, it could be your gateway to a small fortune you never expected. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more exciting stories about rare coins and hidden treasures. And always remember, every coin has a story and every story could be worth a lot of money.